We have a ton of breaking stories to get through today, my friends, so I can't afford to spend too much time with this intro, but best believe I'll be giving you guys the full scoop on everything currently surrounding Joao Felix's return back to Chelsea Football Club, on top of some very big club news as well too. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Thank you for all the love and support, it means a lot, my friends. And let's get straight into things. So let's kick things off by discussing Pedro Neto's first words in his official club interview. As Neto says, it is a big club with big ambitions. I know the history the club has. I'm really looking forward to meeting my teammates, meeting the staff and meeting everyone else because I want to make history with the club. It's a young squad with really talented players. I played against Chelsea last year and I know the team we have because we can do great things. It also was revealed in the interview that Pedro Neto already has an existing friendship with both Renato Vega and surprisingly Reece James. It was revealed that as both players were coming back from their rehabilitation and their injuries, they kind of connected that way. So it's nice to know that Pedro Neto kind of knows a few of these teammates already. I do feel like when we buy players for our squad, we also think about how they will harmonize with the existing players in this squad. I think that is like one of the things we definitely focus on. But to move on, Pedro Neto reveals that right now he feels like he is in peak form. He goes on to state that I like to play in the three positions in front. I've played more in the wide areas at Wolves, but inside is also good for me. I don't have a preference. I hope to bring work, I hope to bring faith to the team, to bring wins, to bring goals, to bring assists, and to bring everything to make everybody happy here. I want to do my best, help the team achieve their goals and put Chelsea where they deserve to be at the top. My expectations for myself are always high. The expectations here are high, so I'm looking forward to showing people why I'm here and that I deserve to be at the very top level. Of course, this was a massive coup to seal this move because we move in the shadows to get this deal completed. Clubs like Spurs, Newcastle, Man City and a host of other teams were looking to make moves for Pedro Neto, but we were there 2 months in advance to get this deal over the line. I have to say, when it was announced yesterday at halftime, it was like the perfect announcement of all time. Beautiful weather, incredible pitch, and obviously Pedro Neto with his beaming smile there to announce himself as our new, hopefully, star winger for this season. So my friends, that's the Pedro Neto news out the way. Share your thoughts and opinions. What are your expectations of Neto for this season? Let us all know. And now, my friends, let's discuss everything that you need to know about this current ongoing Joao Felix story. So much to dissect, so much to unpack. Right now, let's start with what we know. Joao Felix has said yes to returning back to Chelsea. He wants the move. Currently, Jorge Mendes is in London engineering talks to get this move finalized. There's so much news to break down, in fact, that I don't even really have time to really share my full, honest thoughts and opinions on this move. Obviously it's kind of taken us all by surprise. Yesterday I was absolutely hyped because you guys know I have a soft spot for Joao Felix, but I do want to have a serious conversation about the move we are making for him, probably in tomorrow's video. But let's focus entirely on the news reports for today. Right now, negotiations are currently ongoing. Atletico Madrid want around 50 million euros to complete the operation. That's around 41 million pounds, but reports also suggests that we are hoping to try and sign Joao for less than the 41 million pounds Atletico Madrid want. So let's continue to watch this space. On the plus side, Felix is cooperating. He wants to move and he is willing to take a drastic pay cut to make sure he signs for us on a permanent deal. The main benefit is that both clubs don't want the Gallagher deal to fall through. Atletico Madrid are ready for him to sign the contract to become their player, to get ready to work under Simeone, and us on the other hand, we want to cash in on him to receive that pure profit. But I have to quickly say, I think it's a bit disgraceful how Conor Gallagher is still being played around. Since the new ownership has taken over, they've been constantly playing with this guy's career every single window, and the fact that now he has given his blessing to move and there's still this hold up. I'm sorry, regardless of how you think about Gallagher or whatever, you have to be honest and you have to admit, you know what, we're not doing right by a guy who's only ever kept his head down and focused on the football. Even when his future's been in doubt non-stop, he has prioritized playing football, focusing on that and showing what he can do on that field. So right now things are currently in the balance, but all hope is yet not lost. We are learning today, Julian Alvarez has officially signed for Atletico Madrid. He will be joining on a 95 million deal. He's signed his contract, he's completed his medical, and the good news is that the rest of this operation involving Felix, Amora Dion, Conor Gallagher, they will be unaffected by Atletico Madrid signing Julian Alvarez on a permanent deal. Let's now move on to what's happening currently surrounding Amora Dion, and as we are learning from reports in Spain, most notably from Relevo, Amora Dion is not a happy man, and he most definitely is not impressed. Now, over the past 2 days, this is when negotiations took a twist, and this is why there was that stalling on Amora Dion completing his move here. Our excuse was that we found some unsatisfactory things in his medical examination, and Relevo report that we used that as an excuse, of course, to try and renegotiate in the last minute to find more favourable terms. And those favourable terms that were revealed was, we hope to purchase around 50% of Amora Dion's economic rights. That's a bit of a mad move. I think it's a bit outrageous. Naturally, the player and Atletico Madrid said no to that. And it gets me thinking, obviously we would have known that Atleti would have said no to that, irrespective of the fact that there is pressure on them now to seal the moves of both Gallagher and Julian Alvarez. Was this our excuse to force Atleti to buy Gallagher for the price we wanted by fooling them into thinking that Amora Dion would be coming in a separate move for the same amount of money? That might be the case. Still, again, it's poor form because we've been after Amora Dion now for most of this window, and to now kind of just like use him as a ploy to find the best transfer outcomes for ourselves. Again, it's not great, and my only fear is this story potentially going to have long-term ramifications when it comes to negotiating with any clubs to sign their players, because clubs will feel like, listen, Chelsea Football Club, this ownership, they can play you around when they feel like it, and we're not here to have our time wasted. Now, reports from Spain also mention the fact that Atletico Madrid got a whiff of the fact that we were showing interest in Joao Felix, and this is the part where I want to discuss the current rumours that's surfacing surrounding this deal. And essentially the rumour is, with Jorge Mendes having such a key role behind this move, allegedly to gain favour with him, to get those first option rights to sign Pedro Neto, and to keep that deal under wraps with nothing being leaked out or reported publicly, we did go into business with him, knowing the fact that we would be engineering a move to sign Joao Felix from him. Of course, high profile client, big money, and of course, like, he's one of the high priorities for Jorge Mendes in every single recent window. Some could argue our agents taking control of our owners and kind of dictating our transfer strategy and business. That's a conversation I'll probably have in tomorrow's video tackling Joao Felix and my opinions, but I thought I'd give you guys like a bit of a full picture. Yes, it's rumors, but it may form your opinion, it may not. I thought it was worthwhile mentioning. So that's currently all the stories and news we are learning surrounding Joao Felix and his return back to this football club. Now, as we know, last season, the reason why we didn't sign him after his, pretty decent loan spell, even though it didn't necessarily set the world on fire, was that Pochettino was against having him in the squad because in terms of balance reasons, he just was not needed, and the club decided against signing him on a permanent deal. Now, when Joao Felix was first here, of course, there were some little concerns in the sense of his work rate and his poor pressing, and that will be something for Maresca to have to work along with the player and try to optimize in his game, because if we're going to have this lineup with these mad attacking players, they're going to have to put some serious work in off the ball on that field. And for Joao Felix, this seems to be a guy that just doesn't know what failure is. His career is kind of stalling at the moment. He's not necessarily reaching that point where he's taking advantage of the potential he has. It's still promise around the player. The promise exists because he is still a player that can produce those unreal moments on the field that you just can't coach, capture the fans and make something happen from nowhere. But right now, we still don't know yet whether he's on that line of bordering on greatness or whether he's on like a Payet type of level where they're technical stars, but they lack in other fundamental areas in their game. Time will tell, but it does seem like with Felix potentially getting a permanent move here for us, this is his final opportunity right now to really start taking advantage of his career here. The player enjoyed his time here and was disappointed that he couldn't remain at Chelsea. So again, he's been given a second chance. He's been given so many chances, and right now he must take this opportunity with everything he has left. So my friends, that's the Felix news out the way. Share your thoughts and opinions, and we now end things by discussing all the breaking club news that is coming out. We discussed the latest news involving Romelu Lukaku, because reports in Italy from Damasio suggest that Napoli have finally made their first official offer for Lukaku, that is 25 million euros upfront with an additional 5 million euros in add-ons. This is the verbal offer that has been made. That means that once we get the blessing, Napoli will turn their verbal offer into a more official one to complete the move, because time is running out to get everything sorted for all parties. They want to sign Lukaku now before they consider selling Victor Osimhen. It makes a lot of sense, as Lukaku is the priority for Napoli and most importantly Antonio Conte. You'd like to think though that once Napoli can finally sign Lukaku, this opens the door for them to negotiate hopefully a nice loan move with obligations to buy or whatever to allow Victor Osimhen to leave. They can't afford his wages, I keep stressing that, and I do feel like with so many clubs not really showing interest in signing Osimhen due to how prohibitive the costs actually are. There's great potential for us to be able to seal a move for the striker. Let's continue to watch how the story develops, but this window could end in spectacular fashion. I have to say, it's not the most amount of money, and as rumours are suggesting, Aston Villa are more than happy to pay the full release clause for Romelu Lukaku. Let's continue to see how that story develops on that angle, but in my opinion, if we're willing to give Napoli that discount, hopefully this means that Napoli are going to scratch our backs and will also sign Osimhen on more favourable terms. We turn our attentions on young Portuguese winger in Diego Moreira, because French reports revealed that Strasbourg want Moreira for next season. At the time, we didn't know whether that was on loan or on a permanent deal, but at the time of recording, it has been confirmed that Strasbourg are hoping to sign Moreira on a permanent deal, and that fee will be around 2 million euros, plus we will have the option to buy him back at a certain price. That seems to be the best thing, because at the time it was reported that he'd be going out on loan, but if that was the case, it would mean that he would take the final international loan spot, and with the amount of players we still need to get rid of, I think that's too risky, especially considering a particular player that could be vital in this Felix move getting finalized. I think for Moreira, he's had experience in Liga already. Last season he showed promise in the PL2, but I think now he's shown that he's too good for that level. He has to introduce himself at a first team level, and being in an environment that's close to the football club, this could be the thing that he needs in his career right now. So let's see what happens there. Good luck to Diego Moreira. Moving on to discussing the future surrounding Armando Broja, we are learning from Plettenberg that Stuttgart have made inquiries about taking Broja on loan for the season. After losing Guirassy to Borussia Dortmund, they need a top 9, and the advantage that Stuttgart have is that they have Champions League football to offer and provide. Now, Broja still has a ton of interest from many clubs, but in my opinion, I feel like interested parties now, they're going to bide their time and they're going to make moves for Broja as the window comes down to an end, so they can sign him for the best, most favourable deals and prices. I've seen these moves happen every single summer. That's the plan for Broja, otherwise he'd be out the door already. In the case of Broja though, I think Stuttgart could be an interesting move, because you're going to a league that favours open play, and that means that you have the possibility to score quite a few goals. If you're leading the line at Stuttgart, getting CL football, playing for a team that looks to create exclusively for their striker, that could be the season you need to start your career again. Of course, Fulham was very unfortunate. The injuries have been awful. It's very unfortunate that his career is stalled at this point. That's a risk that can happen at the highest level, but there is a decent opportunity at Stuttgart now to reclaim himself and be in a goal-friendly team. So that's the Broja news out of the way. But we have yet again more club news. Turn our attentions to Raheem Sterling and Noni Madueke. As we know, Juventus have made inquiries for Raheem Sterling. Light interest I'm hearing is coming from Saudi Arabia still. However, it's quite clear that if Felix comes, the club are looking to move on either Raheem Sterling or Noni Madueke. In the case of Sterling, he'd be the main priority to move on because he's on ridiculous wages, but those wages are still pretty prohibitive. He's on 325k a week. It's absolutely nuts. We'd have to find incredible terms with Juventus to get something over the line, but let's continue to watch this space surrounding Raheem Sterling. In the case of Noni Madueke, surprisingly, we are open to him going only if we get very good money for him. Newcastle have shown long-term interest throughout the summer. They need a top-class right winger, and he fits their profile of being a player from Chelsea. And listen, they're basically just like building a team using all the guys that we've owned or that have come from our academy. But Noni Madueke is someone that could command big money, and if we are satisfied at the price we are set to receive for him, we would be open to moving him on. I think it's a massive mistake. He's someone that's on the rise now. He's one of the best carriers, I think, not only in our team, but one of the top ones in the division. And to lose him in your squad right now after the preseason he's had, I'm sorry, you can't just put business and opportunity over what really matters on the field. So let's continue to watch that space. And for the final story, we could potentially be saying goodbye to Carney Chukwuemeka this window. And as I've been saying, the moment it was announced that Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall was set to sign for us, I knew that Carnes' future was going to be in doubt. The mad thing is about that signing was that Maresca didn't even exclusively ask to work alongside his former player. The club took that on their own will to bring him here to kind of ease in that transition tactically. I think that's a mad move considering that Carney showed a lot of good promise last season. Now, in typical transfer window fashion, the concept last season, people believe in the promise. They were excited by the fleeting performances we saw, and everyone understood the injuries have worked out against him. Now it's a transfer window, everyone's recontextualizing his time now, and now it's become a case of, oh, Noni hasn't even played 3 games consecutively. He's not needed anymore. Move him on. I think that's also a big mistake. There's a reason why many clubs across Europe really value this guy, because really his best position is an 8. And the advantage he has is that he's got the strength, he can progress, he can score, and he can dribble like a winger. This was a system under Maresca that could have got the best out of him, but for some reason we've blocked his pathway by signing an unnecessary midfield player in Dewsbury-Hall, in my opinion. Only my opinion. But in the meantime, Crystal Palace, they're showing intent to try and sign him. But currently, Carney is protected by a 40 million release clause. Now, if any club wants him, cough that money up, but ideally I think we could be open to a loan move if that's going to be within the league. Let's see what happens there, because Carney now wants consistent 30 minutes, and I think that is very understandable. So let's continue to watch the space, my friends. That's currently all the latest stories that have been revealed and dropped today. Share your thoughts and opinions. There's going to be so much more to discuss today. I have another video coming out. I think it's time to discuss predicted lineups, our best predicted lineup of this season under Maresca, including all these potential new transfer signings. So stay tuned for that later this evening, my friends. And on that note, I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lions TV. See you all soon.